so it was a way how you could take very private photographs of people which I would not shoot people that would not want to be photographed. So I think that it's rather important that you don't impose yourself. So I either have a situation where people ask me to photograph them, or I would ask them, but I would never just click something. And the other issue was obviously I was scared of the jungle, and that needed to be sorted out. And then there's this whole thing about the naive Westerners' perception about the good tribal or the good natives. And if you travel long enough there, and Manish Chandy was so kind to translate most of the time for me, got me more insights in what's actually going on in the village. And in the end, you are back to a village is a village is a village. It's not so different anywhere in the world because they have their little things going. They're obviously all very nice, and if you're good friends with them, there's no danger. That was an interest too. Because really in the West, it's like if you look out of that 18th century romanticism and all what was in there, that nature thing is very heavy as good. Nature actually is rough. It's not per se good. So that was something I always wanted to experience, and it was fairly easy to go with these guys, and we all know each other since years, so it was fun also. Rough also, because we lived on that boat. Your bed sheet would be plastic tarpaulin, or the bed would be the wooden plank, and rice dal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Plus a fish in the evening. So that was it.
And how's the experience of hosting your work here in the site of the distillery? What do you feel about
that? Was just a very great chance. That Kasha managed to convince the PondyART government that we can use these spaces. She started with a small wall where she had put art in the public space, and that suddenly we could use this huge space, which is normally unused or maximum used for parking. Is a bit similar what you find, or what I've experienced in the West, where whenever new areas are opened up in terms of artists moving in, next the commercial crowd moves in, then artists go out. And in that way, to have such a huge compound with the options to install on all the different levels, it was obviously a challenge and great fun. And here we have to make Moto! Come! So, it was great fun because these guys, come here, quick! Come, I want you in. See, this is Mutu, and he is a star climber, and his gang is super. They made this possible. He called me today morning at 5:30. I didn't like it too much, but I managed to be the first one here. So he did all the work, figured out how to place it, install. In Germany, you would be in jail by now if you install like they did it today.
Which is without any safety precautions.
But here you can do that, and these guys are good in climbing and fearless. No, he did a super nice job. Kasha, everybody has been working quite hard, and it's fun. And it maybe have the effect that even the PondyART people, government, realize what you can actually do without too big an effort. No? And okay, it's work, but it's in the end not too expensive or anything like that. And it is most probably more accessible than some kind of poshish gallery. Yeah, and basically over the last 20 years I did mostly people photography. I sometimes do some other stuff also, but that's actually something I like doing because I find that interaction interesting. And that ranges from something what we call inszenierte photography. It's where you build huge sets. Let's say in advertising you have that, you build like film sets and do a very deliberate cast of characters and whatsoever. And it involves a huge amount of planning and organization, which is fun actually. It's not that you just go somewhere and click something. I'll sketch the things beforehand. And there's a clear numbers of lists that have to be worked down. And if you have a great team, it's very enjoyable. It's quite stressful, but it's great. And yeah, I've seen that even if I would be shooting let's say corporate leaders or so, it is very much that trick, how do I get out of that guy what I want? It's a power game in the end, which you have to win by whatever method. And that is interesting. Plus you get to know a lot of people who are rather interesting. I mean, I've seen it once we have been shooting some CEO for 4.5 hours with 8x10-inch Polaroid in those days. And then we sat together for another 4 hours to discuss life. It was nice. And yeah, this kind of experience are all worth it. And it's the same as if you stay with these guys somewhere in the forest or in their houses, you get to see something you normally would not see. So photography in a way legitimizes or gives you the alibi for the excess. No? See, in the Andamans it's very clear. There's, as Ralph said earlier, 5 to 6 tribal groups, but they're off-bound. You can't go there. I mean, you can, and as I said earlier, I would not photograph people who don't want to be photographed or which you should not or whatever. So I stay out of that. So the Karens was as close as it was possible to get a deeper insight into the community.